How's it going, everybody? I'm Brooks,
I'm Joe.
and this is another episode of Cantina Reviews Barside Chats.
Today we are talking about a new movie that we just saw just now called Searching.
Just now, we are still in the theater doing this review.
People are starting to look at us.
Yes, and the people that are cleaning the floors would like us to leave. But we said no. Our viewers and listeners demand a review instantly after the movie.
Right.
Yes.
They will be searching for this review,
Yes.
much like the searching that goes on in the movie.
Yeah.
It stars John Cho and Deborah Messing. And it's like
It's very messy.
it's like a mystery thriller. If you saw the trailer, like it kind of, it shows how the movie is like portrayed. It's all through like the computer or phones or...
What's it called? Taken? Silence? What's it called?
Silence. Searching.
Searching, silence, taken.
Dad's daughter goes missing, so he starts to search through her stuff online to try to figure some stuff out.
Finds out she's a prostitute.
Nope.
Oh.
But there are many paths to which you are led down as the mystery unravels.
Yeah.
Based off the first commercial, I did not have any interest in seeing it.
Yeah, you had said you want to go see that, and I was like, yeah, I got nothing better to do.
Yeah, I was like, it just kind of looks like a gimmick that'll get old really fast.
Hey, almost like Movie Pass.
Like Paranormal Activity. Yeah.
Or yeah, that too. We both just make good comparisons.
But it's actually pretty good, if not great.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to go down in one of my top favorite movies. Like, without
ever?
a doubt.
Or this year.
Ever. It's going to be in the top 100. No, it's of the year, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Of all time, just because there's no rewatchability,
Right.
probably not that high. But as far as like initial watching, it's one of the better movies I've ever seen.
Right. And it really is like an experience to watch it, because without getting into spoilers just yet, like you're kind of learning things as the father character is.
Yeah.
So like you're
like
also
thinking the way he is.
Right.
It's crazy.
As you discover like little tidbits of information, like you are just automatically assuming the worst, which is like exactly what a parent would be doing, or he would be doing in his position. So you really feel like you're just dying to know what's going to happen next, but also like just assuming the worst at all times.
Yeah, like there is no other option.
Right.
And it's like, oh my god, it's this. So let's get into oh my god, it's this.
Yeah, let's get into it.
You usually do a good summarization.
Yeah. So now we're getting into spoiler territory. Whatever. If you're listening to this, you most certainly saw this movie.
Yeah, so before we get into the spoiler, I would say go see it.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get into it.
So the daughter goes missing. Again, the movie's portrayed like through like laptop screens. You see what they search, you see what they look at. But you also see like the FaceTime video, which is how you get faces. News clips, stuff like that. Phones, all that good stuff. That's how you're seeing the movie like unravel. Daughter goes missing. Father starts to look into friends, stuff like that. Eventually, she's been missing long enough that they get the police involved. But as he's searching through Facebook friends and school friends, realizing like his daughter didn't really have any friends. Also worth noting, the beginning it shows like their family from when the kid was born, and then the wife gets leukemia. She ends up dying. So that kind of plays
Lymphoma.
Yeah. Oh. So that ends up playing into the relationship between the father and the daughter. But it turns out she doesn't really have any friends. Her friends are pretty superficial at best. Keep her around.
Yeah, if you
She's
call
smart.
them friends.
Yeah. And they have really nothing to help with. He starts to unravel the mystery, and he's got this cop. Deborah Messing is helping him out. She's the actress. And she's like, well, this seems like a typical runaway case. You find out that she had been like, taking money from her dad that he was giving her for piano lessons, and she was never going. She was keeping the money, and then she had deposited it onto like a Venmo account.
She had a fake ID.
Fake ID, deleted the account. It seems like the trail comes to like a pretty dead end, and the father figures out through like her Instagram and Tumblr and stuff that she liked to go to this lake. Goes to the lake. This is like when the movie gets really, really intense.
Yeah, because like up until this point, you're just constantly building. Like you're building the mystery, you're building the story, you're building the relationships between all the characters.
Right.
And then it almost gets to a point where you're like, where could this go?
Yeah.
It's like we have no idea where she went.
Right.
We have no idea what she was actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then what winds up happening is basically he goes to the lake to see where it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then he basically finds out that the cop had told him that she just ran away. But he goes to the lake, finds a car in the bottom of the lake.
Yeah, he finds like her car keys, and the way they built the scene, this movie does a really good job of like, not offering you information right away.
Yeah.
So you're kind of left guessing as things unravel.
It was like a great raw reaction.
Because you know,
like what would happen if he were to if he found the keys in the woods? It's like, what would you then do?
Right.
So he calls the cop and he's like, "You said she ran away."
Yeah.
And they're like, "What are you talking about?"
First off, like, fantastic performance from John Cho. Very emotional. But yeah, like they had last seen her car in a traffic cam turn off this road that generally leads out of town. So that's where the cop was pushing this, she ran away narrative. Then he finds that the lake is like right off the road from that. And then like you see him find that connection. You see him run off the camera, which it was like showing you the FaceTime video. Then the next is just a GPS, and then the FaceTime
and him
video,
calling as the arrows moving in Google Maps.
As he calls the cop, and he's like, "You told me she ran away. You told me she ran away." And then he pans down, and he found her keys in the woods. Then it cuts to like CNN breaking news. The car's at the bottom of the lake. There's blood in the car.
Yeah, well, they're pulling the car out, and they're like, "Is there a body in it? Is she in the car? Is she in the car?" And like, they don't tell you for like a minute.
Right. It's like watching in real time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
She's not in the car, obviously, and then, long story short, like stuff like this kind of continues. He believes that his brother may be involved. He finds some weird text messages between the dog and his brother, which again leads you down this rabbit hole of thinking, the brother's molesting her or something like that.
Yeah.
Turns out, and with a really good confrontation, he was just like, letting her smoke weed at his house and kind of vent about her mom and all that kind of stuff. Only to find out that someone has confessed to the murder and then committed suicide.
When this happens, the detective is calling him to tell him about the confession from this guy while he's physically fighting his brother in his brother's house.
Right.
Almost like convicting him of the crime, basically.
It's also worth noting that he had found like his daughter was on like a video chat website, like a UCast thing, and someone had been talking to her and said that their mother was sick as well, and they wouldn't be able to pay the bills and all this kind of stuff. So they declare her dead based on this confession. The cop says she checked it out. It all adds up. Only to find he gets this email from this memorial service that wants to post stuff online, have like an online streamed memorial. And as he closes it out, the picture that comes up is the picture of the girl that had been supposedly talking to his daughter.
On the Ucast.
Yeah, Google image search to find that it's just a stock photo. It's just like a model.
So he calls a model. Turns out the model isn't the girl on Ucast because the cop had said that they called her and verified that she was at work that day. So then he calls the model, and the model's like, "Nope, wasn't me. Like, they didn't talk to me at all. I have no idea what you're talking about." So then he calls the detective. He's like, "Something's not adding up here." He's like, I don't know what's going on, blah, 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 all this stuff. So then he calls the dispatcher, and he's like, "You need to connect me to the detective right away." And then in the midst of that, they're like, "Who are you?" And he said who he was, and they're like, "Oh my God, like we heard about your daughter, like the whole thing." And then they were like, "Oh, well, it's really nice of the detective to volunteer to take your case." And he was like, "Volunteer?" So like I was under the impression that she was assigned to me.
Right.
And you're like, nope, she definitely volunteered. Whole big thing. He goes to the online streaming of the funeral, which was interesting. So I was like, how are they going to do this?
Oh, that was like plot device central, but like,
Oh yeah,
whatever. Yeah, they had to do it somehow so you could see what actually happens at the vigil.
yeah,
So you're watching the vigil through like a stream, and they show up and they arrest the detective. And long story short, her son had been obsessed with his daughter, catfished her online, made her think that it was some girl that she was just friends with online. She had taken out all this money to help pay for these medical bills that weren't real. The son was going to come clean, ended up pushing her down like this ravine in the woods, and the mother just covered it up.
Yep.
So she volunteered for the case, led everything in the wrong direction.
Yeah, made the fake ID. Whole
she
big
had
thing.
the guy that confessed. She had worked as part of this ex-con rehabilitation thing. And there's a picture of the two of them in one of the articles you had seen earlier in the movies.
Which was like a oh my god moment.
She had drugged him, and he confessed, and then she killed him. Really crazy stuff. Overall, a very good ending, not an obvious one.
Yeah. Well, because I thought it was going to end so many times.
Right. Also, not a totally far-fetched one. It makes sense with what happened in the movie.
Yeah.
And then finally, at one point they had been searching for her, and it rains, so it delays the search that they were out in the woods for. You're hearing the detective's confession. They're like, well, what happened? And they're driving in the car, and the father had asked, how do you know she's dead? And she's like, well, she would have had to have survived 5 days without water. And then he said, well, she would have only had to survive 2 days because there was a massive storm. So they turn the car around. You're watching this through CNN news coverage.
Yeah.
They end up finding the daughter.
Yep.
And she's alive.
Yeah, I think the last 15 minutes of this movie, my mouth was just open the whole time. Because the last 15, 20 minutes of the movie is development after development, and it's constant. There's not one moment. So the rest of the movie is all build up.
Right.
They're getting built up the whole time, which is very rare nowadays.
Right.
Nowadays, it's all just action the entire time.
Right.
This movie, it's all build up, character building, story building, everything like that. And the last 15, and then the whole last 15, 20 minutes is boom, 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 and it's one thing after the other, and you're just oh my god, there's so much happening.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I thought it was going to just be a gimmicky thing, we made a movie that's just you just view it through the laptop.
Yeah, because nowadays that's what happens.
Right, I just thought it was going to be, kind of, it would get old pretty fast.
Yep.
But they used it very effectively.
Yeah, it's very well done.
And the tension just builds and builds.
Yeah, throughout the whole movie. And then when it finally comes to a head, you don't know what to do with your hands. It's oh my god, what do I do? And then I'm going to think about this movie for the next week nonstop.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it was just so clear cut and well done. You never left thinking or guessing or anything like that. It's this is exactly what happens.
Well, yeah, I really thought, in which a lot of movies have done. You know what I actually thought of when this part came up? So when they're arresting the detective and it kind of fades out. The stream gets cut off.
Oh yeah, buffers are.
You're looking at a buffering, MacBook screen, and I thought of that movie, The Devil Inside. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
So The Devil Inside was just a quote unquote found footage film. Very much following along the lines of Paranormal Activity and stuff like that, where it's a girl and her mother's possessed, and the demon is as you get through the movie, the demon's bouncing from person to person.
Yeah.
And then,
so you don't know who it is.
Yeah, finally they're in a car, speeding to somewhere. I don't remember. I only saw it once.
Yeah.
They're speeding along somewhere, and then finally the guy in the back seat, you could tell he's possessed. There's these just little cameras in the corner of the front of the car, the windshield. And he grabs the wheel and drives them off the road, and it cuts to black, and it was literally
That was the end.
It said, for more, go to www.thedevilinside.com.
Yeah.
And the whole audience booed.
Yeah. Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah.
It just ended just like that. Car crash. Boom. Done.
Like, when stuff was finally building up, it just ended, and they're like, go to our website.
Yeah, I went on the website, and it was just a promotion for the movie. And that's all it was.
Total scam.
Yep. Terrible.
So I really thought...
It was just going to end.
I wouldn't have said it was a total scam, because, like, the movie itself was good. Like, Devil Inside the movie was awful the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, this I would have said, like, oh, it was cool, but, like, you never find out why it happened.
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to end, and it doesn't. And luckily, they give you a resolution.
Mm-hmm.
And they still give you a couple more, like, moments where you're wondering what's going on.
Yeah.
Before finally revealing exactly what happened. Which I was like, thank God. Like,
yeah.
It would have been real easy for, like, this movie to kind of... dance around giving you a proper conclusion. It would have just left it at that because of its. They could have done it because of the way the movie's set up. It's like, oh well, how would we ever see it on the laptop or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
But they found a good way to do it.
Yep.
It gives you an ending and everything, which is great.
Yeah, it was. Which is very rare these days.
Mm-hmm.
Every movie always tries to make you think in the end.
Yeah.
It's like, just tell me what happens, man.
Right, yeah, they could have left you wondering why she did it.
Yeah, because I'll wonder for 2 days, and then on the third day I'll be like, yeah, don't go see that movie. Because it's like, well, you never know what happened. Everybody tries to be like Inception or like Shutter Island. Like, ones where at the end you're like, oh my God, what actually just happened? Whereas, like, some movies nowadays, it's like, they didn't tell me what happened. I don't care.
Right, can you just tell me?
Yeah, just tell me what
this was
what this
like
is.
a satisfying ending that like made sense in the context of the movie. It didn't come out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Much like we reviewed it, Red Sparrow.
Yeah.
Where the ending was just totally out of left field and seemed to just retcon everything you just watched.
Yeah, exactly. Hated the government, now we're working for the government.
Right, whether it was just so convoluted that I didn't pick up on it, but like, yeah, like that ending was just, it just seemed to be out of nowhere that she had turned yet again.
Yep.
But this gives you an ending that you want.
So yeah, definitely, the weather reports in the Northeast this weekend call for some rain.
Yeah.
So enjoy your long weekend and go out to the movies and see Searching, just not with your children.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely not a movie for like little kids.
Yeah, no.
Or really kids. Yeah, there's quite a bit of reading to do in the beginning as you're like reading through text messages.
Yeah, texting. Yeah, so bring your glasses if you're farsighted like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit to get going because you're getting used to the whole computer thing, and
you're getting used to the style
before you're really into the mystery of it. But like, it's worth it. It definitely picks up.
Well, yeah, once you actually get into the movie,
right?
It's like once we've established the tone, the setting, who the characters are a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting.
What the family situation is. And stuff like that.
Yeah, but once it gets going, it doesn't really stop.
Yeah.
There's every scene. He's figuring out something. The detective's figuring out something.
Right.
I would say definitely go see this movie if you can. It seems like it was a limited run, or it's not run, but a limited release.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Wikipedia says that it was originally released as like a film festival thing, and then it was released to about 9 theaters in its opening limited weekend.
Jeez.
And then it expanded to 1,200 theaters. Actually, literally. Today.
Really?
Yeah. So that's probably why there weren't that many movie times for it.
Right.
But so now it's in its wider release. There's like it says 1,200 theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Projected to gross about $3 million.
Nice.
Great reviews.
Yeah.
Good Rotten Tomatoes score from audience and critics alike.
Yeah, Cantina Reviews gave it a good review too, I heard.
Right. I hear they are pretty good. They're pretty right about stuff.
Yeah, they're usually pretty right. Pretty correct. So yeah, definitely get out there and see it if you can. Pay attention because we'll have more podcasts coming out.
Yes.
More reviews will be coming out. We had a little hiatus there, but we're back.
We are back in full swing.
We are back and better than ever.
Yes.
We're back and we're just the same.
We're just back.
Yeah, we're just back.
We're just back with no noticeable difference.
Exactly. We may have a new light or two, but that's
new
about
light
it.
or two.
No, not even that.
There ain't no new Star Wars yet.
Yeah, exactly. So we're kind of fishing for things here until they start coming out with stuff.
Searching, you may say.
Searching, some may say. Ooh. So yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Yeah. Once again, my name is Brooks.
I'm Joe.
And this has been another episode of Cantina Reviews Barside Chats.